if you're the type of person that buys the really expensive shoes because you decide you're going to get into the gym or you're going to become a runner, and then you deep clean the bathroom to avoid actually getting started, or you have this wonderful idea for this side hustle that you're going to start, and then you jump onto Canva and spend 3 to 4 hours deciding which font to use and which shade of blue that you want to use. I feel you, I see you, and I am you. Today we're talking about productive procrastination, and it's that frustrating loop where you're doing all of these little jobs, you're very busy, but you're not being really productive. But here's the thing, having a messy attention span or being a little all over the shop isn't a personality flaw, right? It's actually just your brain trying to perform a bit of a safety check on a situation that it just doesn't quite trust yet. So right now you've probably got 15 tabs open. In fact, I've got far more than 15 tabs open between like the 3 different devices that I switch between. You've reorganized your desktop multiple times. You've spent 40 minutes Googling how to be productive. Really, you just should have signed up for my 6-week flow formula program. And that one job that would have actually moved the needle for you, it's still an entirely blank page, right? As a psychologist, I want to give you some permission here. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're in a freeze response. And we're going to look at why your high standards are actually the thing that's keeping you stuck and how we can get your focus back, because that is what we need. When a task feels high stakes, your brain doesn't just see a laptop or a to-do list, it sees a threat. We're hardwired to avoid pain. It's like our brain's number one job is to protect us from painful feelings in the immediate moment. Not so much the long term, but in the immediate present moment. But for us, that pain isn't a physical predator anymore. It used to be a bear or a tiger or a kangaroo in the bush, I don't know. But now it's the fear of not being good enough. So back in the day, if you weren't good enough and you got kicked out of the group, it was literally a death sentence. We're social creatures. There is so much research on the health effects of loneliness. And way back when, we relied on the group for survival. So if we did something that the group didn't approve of, if they judged us in a negative light, it was literally a matter of survival. If we got exiled from the group, if they said no, see you never, that was it for us. We wouldn't cope on our own. And our brain hasn't really caught up to the fact that a typo or a mediocre first draft or posting that TikTok that you really have wanted to post but you feel a little bit embarrassed about won't lead to you being completely kicked out of the group and dying alone. So the second you sit down to work, your amygdala, so like the little fire alarm in your brain, starts screaming and it tells you, this feels dangerous. I don't like this. You should go and check your email instead because we're used to checking emails. That's a safe job. There's no danger in that. Check your emails. Emails are fine. No one's going to judge us there, and it still feels productive. We're still doing work because we're checking our emails. So you aren't just getting distracted. You're actually seeking a sense of safety when you procrastinate with busy jobs that aren't really productive. It's so funny. I actually was struggling with this myself when I was prepping for this episode. So I was doing my research and I was trying to script out what I was going to write, and it felt really scary. Like, this is something new. I've never tried to do long form content before, and honestly, I feel really nervous about it. I was thinking, what if I spend all this time doing it and the result isn't perfect and I'm not happy with it? What if I put it out there and people laugh at me, or they judge me, or they think, oh my god, that's so stupid, who does she think she is? Like, I had all these thoughts going through my mind, and this like social threat really pushed me out of my window of tolerance for a little while. So this window is like our nervous system's sweet spot. It's the only place where the flow actually happens, because when we're stressed, we can go either into a hyper arousal, so that frantic racing heart, you feel a little bit sweaty, a bit shaky, or a hypo arousal, and that's that really heavy feeling. It's like I've completely run out of battery, I just need to completely shut down. So to fix it, I wasn't prepping it today, it's raining today. But the day I was prepping, it was a really nice day, so I actually took my chihuahua to the beach for a swim. And I used to feel really guilty about things like that, but now I know it was actually a regulation strategy. I really needed to move a little bit, and I was lucky enough, it was warm enough that I could get into the water, and that sense of regulation really helped me pull me back into that window of tolerance. And when I came back, I was able to finish it up until a point that I was happy with for that time being. And it was really cute. My little chihuahua got into the water too, and she's just the sweetest little thing on earth, so she loved it as well. So once I got back, I did actually feel the urge to just quickly check my phone. But here's a bit of a reality check. Every time you switch tasks, you're paying a switching cost. It is costing you every time you quickly check your phone, every time you switch between all of those 15 or maybe 25 tabs, every time you switch between your 3 or 6 email inboxes, right? It is actually costing you. It takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get back into deep focus after switching tasks. So I really want you to think about that. If you're bouncing between tabs every few minutes, you're never reaching the flow state. In psych terms, we call the flow state transient hypofrontality. I think I'm saying that correctly. Yes, I'm a psychologist, but I'm not always great at pronouncing things or at spelling them. So it's a fancy way of saying your brain temporarily shuts off the inner critic. How good's that? So when you're in this flow state or the transient hypofrontality, you literally don't have the bandwidth to wonder if you're doing a good job, because you're just doing it. You're so absorbed in the task, you're just doing it, right? It's like the ultimate cure for self-doubt, because the part of your brain that hesitates is offline. Like it's not in the chat, right? How good is that? And 23 minutes to reach flow state. I just want to come back to that because I think it's really important. How often, like, be really honest with me, how often are you doing one task for a minimum of 23 minutes without switching, without checking your phone, checking your email, checking something else, checking on the dogs, the children, whatever it is? I don't think that many people would be reaching flow state, really, because 23 minutes nowadays seems like quite a long time. I'm pretty sure that's about 23 minutes is about the length of time a Modern Family episode is, and I don't know that many people close to me that would watch a full episode of a show now without checking something else, right? The thing is, it doesn't just work to tell our brain that we're safe, even though, like, logically we know we are, our brain doesn't really believe it. It needs to feel it. So here's what I want you to try today. Here's something you can take home and have a go at. It's the 5-minute rule. So tell yourself that you're going to work on this one scary task, but only for 5 minutes. That's it. You're just going to do 5 minutes on that task. You can avoid it after that. Just try it for 5 minutes. You don't need to worry about it being good. In fact, I really want you to just give yourself permission to be terrible at it, right? The point isn't to do the best quality work you've ever done. The point is to show your amygdala, the little fire alarm. Remember, we can go into that in more detail in another episode if you'd like me to. We're showing your amygdala that you won't die because you worked on this task for 5 minutes. You won't be kicked out of the group. You won't die alone because you worked on this task for 5 minutes. Once those 5 minutes are up, your brain can usually start to understand that that threat and that alarm going off was actually a bit of a false alarm, And then it sort of quietens down, and suddenly you feel like, well, maybe I could do another 5 minutes. And then you can see where we're going with this, right? The longer you stick at it, the longer you can do it. And then maybe you can get to 23 minutes and reach that beautiful flow state where your inner critic has completely left the chat. And I mean, what have you got to lose? It's literally a 5-minute task. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work for you. You haven't really lost anything. Best case scenario, it is a really helpful way for you to get started on those tasks that you keep avoiding, and it improves your productivity, it improves your work, it improves your health routine, and it improves your life. If what I've spoken about today has really resonated with you, if you have felt yourself in what I've been saying, if you feel seen or slightly attacked, but like in a good way, you know what I mean, I just want you to know that this cycle often shows up in our health behaviors too. So often, like in work and study, it can show up, but it can really show up in our health behaviors when we're trying to change those. If you have decided that this year is the year that you get fit, or the year that you become a runner, or the year that you excel in the gym, or whatever it might be, this freeze response can still show up in that way. So next episode, we're going to explain and dive into a little more detail why those really expensive shoes still haven't been worn on the pavement or worn to the gym. If you want to dive deeper into how to actually reach that flow state and stay in it, I have designed an entire program specifically to support you to break through that cycle of self-doubt and procrastination, because it is such a cycle, but you can break through it. So my program is designed to support you to break through that cycle so you can more effectively and more efficiently start following through on those tasks that you say that you're going to do that are going to get you to your goals. So often people have these really incredible goals that they're so capable of achieving, but when they break down the tasks that they need to do, they don't do them. They get in their own way. They let that self-doubt get in there and talk them out of it. And then they never reach those goals, and it's one more thing that they haven't completed. If that's you and you're in that cycle, this program is for you. We're going to break that cycle, and we're going to get you into a cycle of committing, following through on things, and reaching those really wonderful goals. So I will have a link to more information in the comments below. If you've stuck with me this whole episode, thank you so very much. I have been feeling a bit nervous. Like I said, it's my first one, so it's scary because it's new and it feels a little bit dangerous to my brain, but I'm really excited to make more of these and keep sharing information with you and hopefully adding value to you. So thank you very much for being here.